What is going on, everybody? It's Skills here, and today we are going to be showing you guys my self armor repairing build. Now this build is great for solo players without having to worry about speccing into any type of utility. Now we'll get into it in just a second, but as you guys are seeing the clips on screen right now, you guys can tell that this build can self repair its armor. It has a lot of good DPS, and you pretty much can solo any mission in the game. Now if you're trying to do heroics, it might be a little bit tougher just because those are a little bit harder to do, and sometimes just running a really high damage skill build is a little bit better because you can just stay back and cover, just keep throwing out those seekers, stuff like that. But with this build, if you guys like using guns, as you guys have seen in this video, this build will be for you. So let's break it down. So let's dive into it. So I am running the gunner class, and that's because the gunner does give you armor on kill, plus it gives you some other good perks for solo players. So with this build, it pairs up really nice. Now for the weapons, I am running a custom P416. If you can find another AR that gives you around decent damage and a higher RPM, you might want to run that too. But right now, the only weapon that I currently have that has the talents that I'm looking for was this custom P416. And at 23,000 damage, 825 RPM, I really can't complain. Now we do have preservation on this, which is going to give us killing an enemy repairs 10% armor over 5 seconds. Now headshot kills improve this repair, and you only need 7 or more defensive, and you can see I'm running 7 offensive and 14 defensive. Now I do have a Allegro on here, and then I have Greased. Greased isn't something that I really need to have on this one. I would rather have protective reload, but it's okay because I am going to get that on my pistol. Now the way I have this modded is I'm running the 5% damage to elites. Now remember, if you run the C79 scope, you will get that extra 25% headshot damage from just having the Nemesis holstered. Now if we go down to the sturdy extended mag, that's plus 20 rounds. We go into the vertical grip, that's 10% accuracy, and then we go into the muzzle, and that's going to give me 5% damage to elites. So we get 10% damage to elites extra on this build right here. We dive into the Nemesis. The Nemesis is great for sniping, so that's why I like running a custom P416 or any AR with the Nemesis. Now if you want to run the Chatterbox, you can, but I like the Nemesis because sometimes those enemies hide way back in the back, and this Nemesis is great for that. Another great reason to run the Nemesis is because preparation, while holster gain 15% headshot damage when scoped in with your current weapon. So sorry, it's not 25%, it's 15%. So you get 15% headshot damage when you are scoped in. So sorry about saying 25. And then I am running the gunner specialization weapon, and that's the one I told you that it does have protective reload on there and greased. So let's dive into the build itself. We are running 23,000 base damage on the AR. You already saw that. We have 825 RPM. We have almost 300k armor, 110k health, and then our skill power is at 302 and then 558 for the Reviver Hive. So nothing too crazy. We're not even really using our skills. We don't even really use our chem launcher that often. So for the mask, we are running a Douglas and Harding mask. This is going to give us 5% accuracy. I have 47% damage to elite roll on there, and then I have 7k health. And then this is a perfect concussion. Headshots grant 20% headshot damage for 2 seconds. Now if I am using my marksman rifle, that's 5 seconds. So this is with 7 or more offensive, and I'm running 7 offensive, so I can run this perfectly. Now this is better than having precise on the gloves because of the fact that you get that 20%, and every time you're hitting a headshot, it continues to give you that 20%. So that's why I tell you, if you are going to run, if you do want to run some headshot damage on the gloves, you might want to swap it out for this mask instead, and then instead of running a Badger Tough mask, you can run Badger Tough gloves. If we get into the chest piece, I'm running a Fenris chest piece. This gives me 10% AR damage, right? Assault rifle damage. We have 20k armor, 20k health, and 12% weapon damage. Now we do have Bloodsucker on here, and it's going to be depleting enemies armor stacks 25% bonus armor for 10 seconds. Now this max stacks to 6, so this is great for this type of build that you're not running a lot of heals, and every time you break an enemy's armor, you keep getting that really nice chunk of bonus armor, and then they have to eat through that before they get at your armor. Now this does require 11 or more defensive, so that is the only thing. You got to make sure you stack some defensive on this build. Now I am running hard hitting right here. Remember, you only run unique talents once, so we get that 25% damage to elites here. We have 47% damage to elites on the mask, plus we get another 10% off the weapon. So nice chunk of damage to elites just on almost 2 pieces. Now if we get into the mods, I do run a health mod here, but I am going to swap this out. I just noticed I had a health mod here. We're going to swap this one out to an armor mod. Let's pick one out that's really good. No, never mind. We're going to put this 5%. If you want to put a health mod with armor on kill to stack more armor kill, you could do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit more armor on this build. So there we go. We're at 310k armor now. We get into the Gilligard holster. That's going to put us at 5% total armor, 20% hazard protection. Now, I had got a god rolled, well, I wouldn't say god rolled, a really good Gilligard that had, I think, almost, I want to say 17k armor on kill. And then I could have rolled the 40k health roll on it. Oh, that would have been so much better. So I could have had 7k more armor on kill just from the holster. But I guess I accidentally deleted it. But yeah, so if you can get a better armor on kill, definitely get that. And then you want to put health on here. Now for the mods, I love Gilligard because you're still getting those offensive mods, so you can stack some AR damage here. So assault rifle damage 4%, 1% weapon damage, and the same down below. We have one that has 3% assault rifle damage, 1.5 weapon damage, and then 1% damage to armor. So we get into our second Gilligard piece, which is the Kneepad. So we have 12% total armor. I like running patience here. After being in cover for 5 seconds, armor repairs for 5% every 1 second, 6 or more defensive. And this is great, like, since you're not running a lot of heals and you just get into cover. Once you're in cover, you're shooting from cover, this starts to stack up with your, if you drop your baby chem launcher, and then if you get a kill, the armor kill. It's just really good the way it works. Now, if you want, you can try to run something else here, but the problem is you're going to probably need to get something with higher offensive. Maybe you could run composure, but that's going to require 11 offensive. So you would have to have 11 offensive and 11 defensive to run this exact build. I honestly, patience works great with this build. After being in cover for 5 seconds, armor repair. It gives you that kind of self-healing. It goes with the whole theme of the build, and I just always liked it. If we get into the mods, we have the defensive system mending mods that are going to give us 3% total armor, 3k armor, and then 3% protection from elites. We go down, we get another 3k armor and another 4% total armor. Now we get into our what makes the build, right? Our gloves are going to give us 7% damage to elites. So it's almost like we had one of those extra 10% damage to elites rolls on this build. So that's a way a lot of you guys can gain an additional damage to elites on this build. So this is where we get 7% more damage to elites. Plus we're running a 2-piece, so that gives us 15% armor on kill. Now you stack that with the 10% you get from gunner, so we're already at 25% armor on kill. And then we stack the armor on kill that we have on our holster. So this one has 1200 armor regeneration, 14% hazard protection, and then 10% assault rifle damage. The armor regeneration, if you want to have health here, you can pretty much roll whatever you want, but you definitely want to have one weapon damage roll on here, which is the primary weapon I'm using, which is going to be the assault rifle damage. If we get into the backpack is the second piece of Badger Tough, so that's why I'm running 2-piece for that armor on kill. That's how this is a self-healing armor on kill. This with patience, with preservation on the weapon, just works so good. So we have total armor here. We have 9% weapon damage, 7k health, 14k armor, and then we are running an offensive mod, so that's going to give us 3% assault rifle damage, 1% damage to armor, and 2% damage, weapon damage. So stacking these all together work really good. A lot of damage coming out with headshot damage, with damage to elites. It just works really good, and you can run this on console or on PC. Now if we get into the skills, I just run a chem launcher. In case you go down, the reviver hive saves you. So that's why this is great for solo play. Like if you're not gonna run solo play, you might not have to run that reviver hive. You can run something else. So the build itself is at 23,000 damage with the AR. We keep going down. We have 55% headshot damage. Now that doesn't include the 15% from the Nemesis, so that's going to be at 70% headshot damage. Plus, remember, concussion gives us 20% when we're hitting those headshots, so we're at 90% headshot damage. So not too bad at all, just by using the headshot damage. Now if we do use the Nemesis, it's going to be more, because remember, Nemesis has naturally headshot damage. That's why a lot of times you can one-shot gold enemies with your Nemesis as long as you charge it. Let's keep going down a little bit more. We're going to get into the AR damage is 45%. All weapon damage bonus 25%. Marksman rifles at 15%. We keep going down. We have 89% damage to elites. So almost 90% damage to elites, and not even stacking it on this build a lot. 29% health damage. And then we do have 2% damage to armor. We have armor on kill almost 90,000. So every time we get a kill, we're getting 90,000 armor back. And then our armor's at 310, so that's almost 1/3 of our armor every kill. And that's how we're able to just to stay up, just keep getting those armor on kills, and it's great. And then the max health is great at 104. In case your armor goes, you have enough time to move around the corner, pop that med kit, and you're good to go. But yeah, this is how I run my build. I enjoy it. If you guys have any questions on this build, if you guys are wondering anything else on how I run this build, this is my solo player build that I ran in title update 5 and 4, but I ended up changing it for title update 6 because we were able to add some Douglas and Hardy, and we couldn't stack damage to elites all over the build. We had to minimize it, so we wanted to take advantage of stacking more damage to elites around the build itself. We could still use patience, so we were able to add a couple new talents on here, pair them up perfect, and this build is still running strong and I'm enjoying it. If you guys have any questions on it, let me know in the comment section. Let me know what your favorite solo player build is right now. I appreciate all the support. I just want to say thank you guys again. But until the next Division 2 video, nothing but skills is out.